I've tried to record this video a couple of times, and every time I do, I stumble on something because it's a difficult conversation to have even with myself to a camera. But I'm going to try one more time, and let's see what we can do. So this video is going to be talking about mental health and suicide. It's a topic that a lot of gun owners don't really want to talk about. A lot of people don't want to talk about it at all, but definitely not gun owners. Mental health specifically, and I'm just going to generalize, a lot of firearms owners are male, and it's a taboo in the male community to admit weakness. And mental health is one of those things where it's a really kind of intimate thing for guys. Females as well. I don't want to generalize or remove anyone from that group. I'm just saying that for me, the expertise that I have, it's difficult. So we're just going to dive into this. Now, I am going to bring up like two statistics that I got from the Giffords Law Center. Now, if you don't know about Gabby Giffords, look her up. I am going to use some of the statistics. I'm also going to put a link to them down in the description below or in a pinned comment. And if you want to take a look, that's great. Try to be objective when you're looking at data, whether you agree with the policies that person's putting through or not. I don't necessarily agree with all of the policies the Giffords Law Center is trying to put through. As of the time of this recording, I don't agree with assault weapons bans. I don't agree with high-capacity magazine limits. They're standard capacity magazines, and if I want to carry 17 rounds, I should. But the data that they use is still solid data, so take a look at it. Also, suicide statistics and mental health statistics in the United States are not really well done. So take all that with a grain of salt. They are not as cut and dry as it sounds. So, as far as guns and their relation to suicide, guns are used in 51% of suicide deaths in America. Now, unlike other things, you can kill yourself with a lot of stuff in your house. You've got chemicals, you've got Tylenol, razor blades, cars, alcohol, other medications. You've got a whole host of things, rope, a belt, anything like that. And I don't want to give anyone ideas. Please don't take it like that. I'm just trying to say how, if you really, really want to do this, you will find a way. But there is a certain convenience about firearms and how quick they are. So that leads them to be used in 51% of deaths in America, of suicide deaths in America, which is a huge percentage. As a gun owner, that's actually not very surprising, but we just have to be understanding that a lot of people unfortunately do use firearms to kill themselves, and if we see ourselves potentially going down that path, look out for yourself. I'll get more on that in a second. But a statistic that I found when I was researching this was that 90% of people who survive a suicide attempt don't actually go on to die by suicide later. This is awesome, by the way. I didn't know the statistic was that high. I knew it was over 2/3, but 90% of people who survive an attempted suicide go on to not die by suicide. Bit of a personal note, my mother, before I was born, was an ICU nurse, so she took care of people who attempted suicide. Sometimes they were vegetables, sometimes they weren't, and it was always terrible. But she had conversations with a couple of them, and there was clarity and renewed sense of being and purpose, and the how beautiful life was that she conveyed to me. So these are secondhand, but still, even if there's a chance of that, there's hope. So whatever you're feeling, please remember there's hope. Always. Really, really, really always. Um, there's a huge taboo of mental health. I already touched on that earlier, but if you're feeling down and you're feeling in despair, I felt fragments of that, um, but no one feels it quite like you. But if you need to, go seek help. Seek professional help if you can. Sometimes professional help isn't available, and sometimes they aren't actually that good. Most of the time they are, or they can find someone who is. Um, if you want to look for a psychiatrist, they do medication. If you want to look for a psychologist, they just talk. They're both beneficial in my mind. But you can also go to a trusted friend. Generally, an older person, older than you, is a good place to start. Um, Someone you trust to be confidential. And if you don't trust anyone like that, if you don't feel comfortable opening up to people, just reach out to other people and try to help them, try to be of service to them as much as you can. And I bet if you can find a purpose in that, you'll start getting better. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just someone who's gone through some stuff myself. If you have a firearm in the home and you're feeling off, first off, your job is to be present with yourself. Um, Understand when you're feeling off or when you're feeling good. If you're on top of the world, if you're waking up, having a healthy breakfast, making coffee, doing your stuff, um, that's great. Check in with yourself. If you're clumsy, you're missing sleep, you're feeling down, you're going into periods of um, just existing, it's kind of gray, moody, whatever's going on. It doesn't have to be stereotypical. It could be you're just getting really angry really quick, you don't know why. Um, Whatever's going on, check in with yourself, and if you have to put your gun away, put your gun away. You're not losing anything by doing that. Um, Honestly, if you're not feeling well, you're a risk to yourself. So you got to keep the demons down. Um, don't just suppress them, though. Talk about what's going on, and you got to beat them. If you have a gun and you need to lock it up, you need to double lock it or put the ammo somewhere else or whatever, just for a day or a week or a month. Do it. Um, you give it to a trusted friend if that's legal in your state. It might not be. But if it is, give it to a trusted friend or a family member and just say, hey, uh, is it okay if I pick this up in a couple of months? I'm going through something right now. And if they're a good person, they'll be fine with that. So this video's already gone on a little longer than I wanted, and this is not an easy topic to talk about, but it's something that, as a responsible firearms owner, you really need to think about. You need to check in with yourself and be present in your own mind as much as possible. So yeah, sorry this is kind of a boring video of heavy topics, but I don't want to ramble too much about this. If you need help, I'll post it because it's available. There's a suicide prevention hotline right here. You can take a look at that and give it a call if you need to. And yeah, this is all taking care of yourself. So just like exercising, eating right, going to the range, becoming a good shot, doing your times tables, whatever else is going on, keep that dialed in too. Stay safe out there, everyone. See ya.